Welcome to In Between the Pages with James Law Jr. I'm James Law Jr. here on JLJ Media. I love talking to people who are singers, songwriters in the industry, talking about their music. And this person, we've been trying to get her on. I've had technical difficulties, things happening in this crazy world we're in right now since last fall or winter. And she was busy. That's like, she put out, 1st September, she put out Don't Want You Back. Then in October, she put out Stuck. Then she did a cover of one of our favorite songs for Christmas, Last Christmas. And now she has a new single coming out in February, which February is next week. So, I mean, that's crazy talk. Help me welcome Liv Ritchie. Hi, Liv.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I know, finally, like, oh my God, finally, good. Well, congratulations on all the music. So you're obviously being, during this whole pandemic time period, being productive.
I'm trying to, yes. I enjoy it.
That's good. I have questions I want to ask you back in a way, so I'm going to ask those questions now while I have a chance, while I have you on here. For Don't Want You Back, love the video. It's like real, folks, it's a real video. Like, yeah. But almost like people are doing videos again with story and with, again.
I know, it's filmmaking. Yeah.
So talk about that with your buddy, Brenda D'Amico. So talk about that for that video.
The song or the video?
Well, I guess both. But the video, let's start with the video part first, because I'm just saying it's a totally produced, great video.
We actually made that video with all of our friends. We had a lot of mutual friends. That's how we met. We met at a little party because we had mutual friends. We didn't know each other, which plays into the writing of the song and stuff and everything that happened. But yeah, we got together with a bunch of our friends and made that video. One of our closest friends is a director, so he directed it. And then we have a bunch of friends that are producers. So we just kind of built this team and made this little video together. And that's actually pretty important to me in visual storytelling, is doing it in a way that is similar to filmmaking and having a story. Because I came here to be an actress first before pursuing music. So I love filmmaking. I worked for a production company as well. So I love doing things like that. And then working with your friends is just the best.
Well, I'll tell you something. I think that's something that I work with my friends too. A lot of stuff. I love collaboration. Number one.
Yeah, same.
But it's very much. You're a good example to tell people. Sometimes look at the resources around you. Who's around you? Who can do what?
Yes.
And pull it together, and you all. When something's successful, then you're all successful, right?
Yes. We're all kind of growing and building our careers together. And I think, especially being an independent artist, balling on a budget, it's really important to use the resources that you have and the friendships that you have and work together to make something from very little. So that's what we did. And the funny thing is, it's a very low budget music video, but you can't really tell with the house. We got that house for free. It was literally the biggest blessing.
Wow.
One of my closest friends knows another girl in real estate who is our age. She's killing it in Malibu.
Okay.
Crazy. And he reached out to her and she was randomly, they were just chatting. It had nothing to do with me. She was yeah, we're selling this house, if you know any actors or influencers that want to shoot anything here, let me know. So obviously with Brenna and stuff, being somebody that has somewhat of a platform, they were yeah, come shoot a music video here. So that was a huge blessing, because we would have never gotten that if it weren't for that situation. And then being so kind to let us use it.
I want to say to people out there who are not in the business, just want you to know that finding locations, you find a location, it's great. You're I love this place, but there's usually rates, other things that go into it, which can make you go, I can't use it.
It's so expensive. Locations are the most expensive thing.
Yes. And if you're on a shoestring, and even not even a shoestring, string budgets, yes, you don't want to spend all your money on a location either. But like she just said, the visual aspect of location is a major part of a video.
Yeah, I've never been to a house like that. That was the most surreal experience. It was way up in the mountains in Malibu.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was the hardest drive for people to get there. It was a very, very difficult drive up the mountains. But yeah, we just had friends making it. We had a bunch of friends as extras, and it just felt like a day spent with my friends. It was so wonderful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I had some experience recently. We did a pilot presentation and we had a nice house we found. It was all my friends. We were all there together producing it. And you're right, it is. But it's not the thing though. It's like, you want to be around people you like, who make
Yes.
the day fun.
Yes.
It's a lot of hurry up and waiting. It's a lot of stuff moving around. I mean, it's a lot that goes on into any kind of production that can be really boring and drawn out. And having people around you who are just really fun and funny, they know you, and it really works.
There is nothing like creating art with your friends. Nothing. Even I guess like the people I work with who weren't initially my friends that I started working with on like more business, they always become my friends. And then it just feels like a family and friends and art. It's great.
Now you're from Chicago, right? I love Chicago.
I'm from Chicago. Same.
Love Chicago. I used to go like 10 times a year for business and stuff, and I miss it. I do, and I do. I love it. So if someone said, okay, you say you're from Chicago, what is one thing that you would like people to know about Chicago?
Oof.
It's by several, but I'm thinking you can say several if you want. But thinking, what is one? I mean, I just think because you're from there. Like, what is
yes.
it? Why it's great? It's a great Midwestern city.
Yeah, it is cold as heck, and I love the cold. Like, I love it. I love the burn you get when you like go outside and it's like -4 degrees out with the wind. There's something about it that like it's like the good type of pain. Like it's a thrill. It's fun. I miss that. I miss like going and skating in freezing weather. Like I was a figure skater, so I miss all those things. I love LA though. I love the warm.
We love LA. But the men are hot in Chicago too, I will say. I think they are.
The men? Wait, okay. This is interesting. Yes.
You want to hear why? Okay, so this is why I think, because I've lived on both coasts and I've been all over the place.
Yes.
And for some reason to me, it's like there's this big Midwestern kind of thing about the men there that are just like they're polite and they're about their hometown. They got parts of other parts of the world with them, but right there in Chicago, they're very Chicago. Midwest, and just big and beefy and tall, and I love it. It's a great attitude.
I went to college outside of the city. I went to Wheaton College. And there are a lot of, I guess they're not all from Chicago, but like a lot of good looking men. Like it was definitely easier to date and find people there than it is in LA.
Yes.
And like I was obsessed with the Blackhawks and the Bulls growing up. And like, yes, all the men were very attractive.
They are.
Yes, I concur.
You concur. I tell people I go, there's some hot men there. I don't know. It's my go. I saw them. So I mean, they were there.
Heck yeah.
There's something about the Midwest, because I feel like Chicago is a very metropolitan city. I mean, people think of the Midwest, they think of all these little towns. Like, no, but it's a very metropolitan, very city-like city, tall buildings and subways, and I love all the rivers. I like all the bridges. Stuff. I love all that, but it's a very metropolitan city.
Yeah, for sure.
With a lot of entertainment, folks. There's a lot of entertainment.
Yes.
So, my favorite shopping street is State Street.
Yes, of course.
So folks, State Street has every store you can think of basically on State Street. We're just blocks.
I don't like shopping, but it's a lovely street.
I love shopping. You like shopping.
I wish I liked shopping.
You go to the store for a reason, get what you need, get out.
I'm like the boyfriend when it comes to shopping. Like I have to sit, my exes would love it. I have to sit down and go on my phone. It's too much energy. Oh,
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, but sounds great. Okay, so that was one video. I really enjoyed that and everything. And then Stuck came out, another great song.
Thank you.
So for you, where do songs come from? Like where do they come from?
All real life experience, sometimes unfortunately. I wish it wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, all real life experience, all deep love, deep heartbreak in my life. I experience love deeply. So when things go south, it affects me a lot. And the only way I can there are other ways I can heal from it, but the main way I heal from it is putting it into music and writing.
That's amazing because I'm a writer also, a songwriter also. It's hard. We're very fortunate we have that ability because you would be stuck, but if you couldn't get out.
Yes.
Seriously, yeah. But no, that's a way to really exercise all those things is through writing.
Yes.
Right?
It seems cheesy to say, but and I know every artist says this, but it's absolutely so cathartic and so healing and so therapeutic. And I cannot imagine not being able to do that. Like, I'm so thankful I have been given that gift of like being able to reflect in that way, because some people just like keep it in or can consume it and listen and relate. And I think that's just as important. That's why I feel like the need and like I feel like it's necessary to write about it and share it with other people, because I know people feel the same.
Yeah,
it's very universal.
I wrote a song years ago called "I Just Want to Break Out." It was after I was tired of trying to date someone who would not text back hardly ever or call back hardly ever. And I was just angry. And I'm like, I'm gonna write a song about it. And I was like, I call you, you don't call back. I text you. And then actually the chorus came really easily because I was so angry. I got out. So I'm like, and so now after that, and so, but also why I bring that up is that when we look back on these songs now, it's a timestamp of where you were. Right?
Yes, which is wild. Yes. Even like the song I'm coming out with, or I think it's coming out in like a week.
Yes, because February's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Yes.
According to it goes according to plan. It's coming out in like a week or a little over a week.
Yeah.
But I wrote it a while ago. I think like over a year ago, and it's about a relationship from 2 years ago. And so it's insane that it is that timestamp, but like I'm putting it out, and I was literally like thinking about it yesterday. I was like, this guy's gonna think I'm still thinking about him. I'm really not, but like it's just a timestamp from that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It just happens to be coming out. I'm like, poor dude. His name is in the song. I'm like, poor dude.
Goodness.
I can't give him a break. Cleverly in the song. I didn't like,
Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's really funny when they go. You're gonna go, wait a minute, she's still thinking about what happened 2 years ago.
I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm very over it. I've moved on. I've had other relationships in between, but he's gonna think that. Maybe he'll be flattered. You know what? I'll let him think that. It's fine.
Yeah, like, sure. You know what I mean? So, and then when you chose to do
flattering, I'd be flattered.
I'd be flattered. Hey, so here's the deal. So you have your own song, your songwriting, doing songs. So when you choose to do a cover of someone else's song, that's it. Were you a George Michael fan or a fan of the song? Because the song's been around. The song is now taking its own life.
Right, both. I love George Michael. My mom loves George Michael, and so I grew up on his music, and that felt right doing the song. I was kind of like worried about it. I was like, is this okay to do? Because it's a song that a lot of people have covered. It's like my favorite is the original version.
Yes.
And I asked my mom, and she's like, no, do it. So I was like, okay.
Well, I feel like it fits your narrative of how of your songs that you do yourself. It fits kind of.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it. It literally last Christmas, like that was my story. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. It feels like mine a little bit. So yeah.
So now when it comes to your family, are you the first in the entertainment business?
Kind of. My dad was in the NFL. Well, okay, so no. He was in the NFL, and that's like a form of entertainment, right? And then my mom, growing up, was in like a bunch of commercials, and she was going to pursue music, but ended up having kids right away. So like her life changed a lot. So I'm the first to like really pursue it. Like this is going to be, I think, the thing I do.
What team was your dad play for? What did you play for?
He played preseason for the Bears, and then I think it was way before I was born. Normal season for the Steelers.
Okay.
And then he got cut like right away because of an injury, and ended up being on the USA men's national bobsledding team.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, I come from a family of athletes. My mom was also an athlete. So I was an athlete growing up too. So it's kind of like I don't think at first I disappointed them by like saying I wanted to be an actress and singer and whatever, but they were definitely like, you were bred to be an athlete. Like, what is going on? And I really was like, I'm 5'8.5", 5'9". Like, yeah, I'm fairly tall. I'm a good athlete. Everybody here is always surprised that I'm not an athlete. So it is kind of funny that I ended up pursuing something different.
Well, I feel like, well, in this business, it's going to help. It's going to help you well because you'll keep because there's a lot of stamina needed to do these acting roles, do videos, perform music. So actually, you'll be able to use that along the way. That'll be fine.
Yeah, my dream. Like
tell me. Let's say it out loud.
I don't really express very often, but
it's
to play a professional athlete in a film. Like I would love to play, like almost like a sports thriller or something. I would love to play a female basketball player or volleyball player, or figure skater. Like, yeah, something. I want to use those a bit.
You said it out loud.
I'll come back to this interview when that happens and be like, that was the first time I said it.
Yes. No, see, we got timestamp it. Right here on this show, she said that. So wait, no, seriously, if that happens, you have to come back.
I absolutely will. Okay. I absolutely will. Now I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen. I'll play part of the video going, Caesar, and let's roll that clip. That's what she said.
Heck yeah.
I love that. I do. I love that. Well, I mean, and there's plenty of stories out there. There's plenty of stories out there like that you could totally play. I want to ask you because my mother's 5'9" also, and I have sisters who are 5'9", 5'10". So what's it like being a tall girl?
It's funny because like sometimes I don't consider that tall. Like my best friend is 6 foot. So I'm just like, oh, I'm the short one. And I have a twin brother. He's pretty tall. He's like 6'2", 6'3", I think.
Okay.
So I've never felt like, oh, I'm that tall until like somewhat recently. I've gone through like phases where I don't feel tall and where I do.
Yeah.
And I'm in a phase where I only wear flats. Like I refuse to wear heels because I don't like towering over people. I went through a phase where I did like towering over people, and I dated a guy that was like 6'5", and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear heels. Super tall. But currently I'm in my flat stage, and I enjoy my height. I enjoy it. I feel like it's just right for me.
Okay. I like that. Not like that. I like that. But just people. I mean, in this town, there are a lot of shorties.
Yeah,
it's a lot. You know I came back to LA. I was like, everybody's short, really? I'm 6 feet. I'm thinking that's not that tall.
Right.
But there's a lot of people who are really short here, men and women.
It makes it difficult in casting for film. Yes. Like, shoot, my phone is going off. Hopefully you don't. Oh well, I tried putting it on Do Not Disturb, didn't work. I still have a home phone. It's great. I did a feature film, and the guy lead was 5'7", and I'm 5'8.5". So they put me in the flattest of flats. And like anytime we were doing like a romantic scene, they elevated him just a tiny bit. Like we kind of made sure it was like a little bit on a slant. Yeah. So that makes it a bit difficult because the male leads always have to be at least like the same height. I mean, they don't have to be, but normally people prefer it, just for the look on film. Yeah. And then it also makes it a bit difficult in dating because I'm like, well, they got to be my height or taller. They don't have to be. I just prefer.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Like power to the people who make it work when when women are taller. Like, great, good for them.
Yes.
I don't love that feeling. I just don't. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I love it. Well, no, because my mom she was always tall. My dad, when she got my stepdads, they were short. So they actually were the opposite. I'm like, that's interesting with the opposite. So that's really fun. But no, I know because I said my sisters and all them, they're all tall. They got to deal with like they have bigger feet and shoe sizes and just gloves, all that kind of stuff. And I always just laugh because it's just in LA. It's other parts of the country. It's not a big deal, but somehow in LA, everyone. And so, folks at home, you don't know this. Here's a little side thing they do in Hollywood. We always call it the apple box. It's always kind of a thing. They always pull out the apple box for the dudes to be a little more taller than the chicks if they're tall. So that happens too because a lot of our leading men are 5'6", 5'7". 5'8".
Yeah, I remember finding out, like the moment I found out in Hunger Games that Jennifer Lawrence was taller than, I can't remember his name,
Oh yeah, playing on his name too. Oh my God. What's
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, yes, Hutcherson, yeah.
And I found out that they used an Apple box for some of the scenes, like when they're slow dancing and stuff. And I was like, what? I felt so deceived.
Yes,
I feel like they're doing it less and less. I'm like, now they're just letting the woman be taller. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, it's an old Hollywood trick. I've done a few movies and like a whole Hollywood trick. But the Apple box. Love that. So when did you realize you could actually make this into a career? Because we see it on TV, you see it on social media, you see it, like, oh, I can do it. But like, not everybody gets into it. Everybody does it, right?
Right.
So for you, when you say, I'm going to be an actress and singer, songwriter, performer.
Yeah.
When did you decide that?
From a very young age, I don't know why, like what was ingrained in my head. Nope, I do know. My mother, when I was like when I was.
Wait a minute, I know the answer.
I'm now realizing it. When I was literally a baby, like ever since I can have any memory, she would always say, she'd hold me and she'd say, "You're so cute, you could be a movie star." And I like, that's a really cute thing to say, right? She just thought I was like a cute baby. So she would say that because I'm her daughter.
Yeah.
And I think for whatever reason, like we joke about it now, it just like ingrained something in my brain of like, you're right. I'm going to be a movie star. Not that that's what I want anymore, but like whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going to entertain. Yeah. So I did like plays and music. I started being on a worship team for like little kids starting in like second grade. And then in second grade, I also asked my parents for an agent. I didn't even know. They're like, how do you know what an agent is? And I was just like, no, I need an agent. I'm going to be on Disney Channel, which didn't happen. They were like, no, you're going to, they were like, you're going to be normal. You're going to be in school. You're going to just do all the normal kid things, which I'm so thankful for now. I just don't think I was the type of person that should have been thrown into that at a young age. Like those years are so formative. And so I stayed in school. I was homeschooled on and off. But I stayed in school. I was on a worship team. I was in theater. I was doing all sorts of sports. But I still in my head knew that that was going to be my thing. So then, but at the same time, like I was a kid, didn't know how to do it. And nobody in my family was in the industry. And then when I was 15, I moved to Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, okay.
And I started training at a film and TV school because I was like, I'm completely homeschooled. I want to do film and TV. My parents said I couldn't start auditioning until I was 15. So that I was like, this is my year. So I started then auditioning in film, still doing music on the side and like learning to write and everything. But just once again, if you don't know how to do it, it feels nearly impossible. Like if you don't know anybody, it just feels that way. I was convinced I was going to figure it out. So I started doing film and loved it. It was just, I did like a PBS special when I was when I was 16, like a lot of short films, and then booked my first feature my sophomore year of college. I went to college early, and then left college. So I think along this like journey, I was just like, no matter what, I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to be in entertainment. This is a long answer for your question. I
love this.
I'm almost like processing it as I speak.
No, I love this. I'm so like that. Like, tell me more.
But
I love it.
So I shot that film, and then I was literally thinking about this in the shower yesterday because I was just like, what point did I like really realize I was gonna do music or like figure out as a career? Because once again, I was leading worship my whole life. I was writing original music. Every year I literally wrote down, I'm going to make an EP. I'm going to like get my music out. Like that was just a dream to like write original music. So then when I was shooting that film, I left school, was shooting in Hawaii for a few months. I was at a dinner at a random Italian restaurant in Hawaii with, do you know who Matt Dillon is? He's an actor.
Yes.
So I was with him and a few other actors in the movie. And one of the younger girls just randomly was like, did you guys know Liv can sing? And Matt was like, no way, show me a video. So this girl who was becoming a friend of mine at the time, and we're still close friends, pulled up a video of me singing Fever by Peggy Lee. I love that song. And it was just like, happened to be on YouTube. I put up some covers and Matt watched it and he was like, I love the tone of your voice. Like, you're really good. And I was really flattered in that moment. I was like, like maybe I should actually like, if people like listening to me. Like, I like doing music, and if they like listening to me, maybe I can continue to do this. So then because of that situation, the producer found out that I could sing, and he sent my music to another producer who was in Nashville. So just like, I think there was like never like a super specific moment, but all of these like little moments that triggered something. And then I kept thinking, okay, just keep going, just figure it out. You can turn this into a career. But there was like never anything. And then, just a bunch of little moments. And then he sent it to a producer. I went and met that producer in Nashville. And I was also just like a little hustler. I was just like, anytime I was with somebody and I felt like it was appropriate, I would ask if I could like help them with anything. And I was like so willing to do just like any little side job. So I was like, can I, he was making a movie at the time. So I was like, can I audition for your movie? Or can I just like, I'm a cowgirl. Can I like ride horses? It was a Western. He's like, oh, you can audition for his movie, booked it. And then he was good friends with this vocal coach. And I think this is like the biggest turning point for me career-wise thus far. He was good friends with this vocal coach. He sent my stuff over to him. He's like, nah, I got to hear her sing live. Like, I'm not willing to work with somebody unless I hear him sing live.
Okay.
So I then flew back from Nashville to LA, heard this news. This vocal coach was on tour with Justin Timberlake. He works with big artists in Connecticut. Okay. So I flew to them. I got to sing for this vocal coach, go to Justin's show, which was like incredible, like one of my favorite shows I've been to. And he took me on as a client, and he, I think, has been like the biggest person in like developing my voice and developing and giving me advice in my career, and encouraging me. And I think maybe that's when I knew like I have the support of people who love me and care about me and who I love, and I can do this and turn it into a feasible career. That was an extremely long answer.
That's you made my job easy. I wanted to hear. I wanted your backstory. So thank you. I mean, I wanted. But you know, it's funny because it's a great example again of that. You're just kind of open to the universe, and the path will present itself. And it's not like one big thing, and now you're a star. It's like it's just
really not. And it's all about being patient and like enjoying those little steps. And I'm even realizing that now, like every single day, there's something little that happens that pushes me forward. But I'm also just meeting the most incredible people along the way and enjoying that and being content in that, while still not being like passive. Like I still want to push myself to do crazier and crazier things and like go beyond what I think my boundaries are, but and limitations as an artist, but also just enjoying those little things, because otherwise it's going to be miserable. This industry is so hard, and you're told no every single day.
Yes.
Literally every day.
Celebrate the small victories, folks. It's very important.
Yes. And that story I just told is full of like a lot of no's that I didn't talk about, and a lot of small victories.
No, I'm sure. Like I said, you told this abridged version, but the unabridged version would be that person said no, I couldn't get in touch with this person. That was 6 months ago. Right. We know all that, so we know about that. But folks, I mean, who are non-Hollywood watchers, who are not doing this career, it's little things come about, and it may not be the path you think it will be. It just kind of, it's a path.
It's never really the path you think it will be.
Exactly.
Which makes it funnier and more enjoyable, right? You're just surprised all the time. You're like, okay, what next?
What next? I mean, seriously, what next? And I trust me, I know it's going to be here doing this either. So like, it's one of those kind of weird things. Like, some did this and this happened over here. And they invited me here, and I did and it just, I love it. I do love it. How do you handle social media? So because you're a young artist, and nowadays we're all on social media. So like, how do you, because I'm following you and it's great, but like, what does it mean in your life in terms of all of this? Like, how do you handle it?
Yeah, it's funny because I think because I was homeschooled, I was like pretty against social media for a while, and just like used it selectively when I wanted to. And it was never really like, promoting yourself is narcissistic and vain, which I still sometimes think that. But now it's like somewhat necessary, and I'm finding ways that I like to do it. I've had periods of time where, just because it can be a narcissistic thing, and I feel like our society has become this thing where it's focused on the self constantly, which I think can actually negatively affect your brain, and cause us to think about ourselves way too much. But I have had a pretty healthy relationship with social media lately. Like I find it very fun, and I try to use it in a way of just like how I would normally use it, even if I wasn't pursuing it. Like I just post really random things with my friends that I find funny.
You find you're not on here all the time. You're not.
No, for sure not.
You're not. So I can see that.
Maybe I should be on it more often than I am.
But no, but I'm looking at it. But because I said I follow it, especially on Instagram. But a lot of your stuff is showcasing your friends. I like
yes,
that.
which is so funny because I was working with a management team like a year ago, and they were like, no more friends in your social media. They made me archive things. If I posted too much with friends, they would text me and say, no, we need to do more of you. People need to get to know you. And I got to the point, I'm not working with them anymore. Love them. But I got to a point where I was just like, I don't even want to think about that. I just want to have fun. Life is short. If I happen to document it and think it's like fun and want to post and share, then great. I enjoy it. I also have like a very maybe niche sense of humor that not everybody gets. I feel like a lot of people take me seriously when I post, and like maybe majority of it might be satire. I mean, I do post sincere things, but I also like to mess around with my stories and just like literally not take it too seriously. And like same with TikTok, I'm just like, you can't take it too seriously. Social media is, no matter what, if something is through a screen, it is filtered. It is not real life. If you are thinking about something and posting it, it is filtered.
Yes.
Whether it's filtering what you say, whether it's actually putting a filter on the picture or the video, you know what you're portraying to somebody, and you're thinking about it, and it's yes.
It's very curated. So what you do,
it's very curated. I'm aware of my presence on social media. I try to keep it as authentic as possible to who I am.
Yeah.
But if it's on a screen, it's curated. So like you're getting a curated version of me. Like nobody really knows my heart, unless somebody is my friend and gets to know me, or I get to know them. That's why this is kind of a fun, my friends were making fun of me the other day for this. I know that I will go through this eventually. I'm not affected by hate. I've done a couple films. I know what it's like to receive the most awful comments.
Yes.
For whatever reason, don't let it affect me yet. And I think it's because I know that everything is just like filtered. It's not real. They don't know me. Who cares? People can call me ugly. I've been called the worst things. I'm just like, whatever.
Like, okay.
And it just makes it right. It makes it easier. And I feel like it'd be easy to say that and lie about it. I'm genuinely being honest. The only thing recently that affected me was I posted a TikTok and somebody was like, girl, I had cowgirl boots on. And they're like, get your jeans out of your boots. Like, that's not how you wear. And I'm a cowgirl. So I was like offended by that. I was like, I know that. It was a joke. The video was a joke. That was the only thing I was affected by. And it was the stupidest thing to be affected by.
I know, no, but you never know what it is, right? You never know what it is. You never know what's going to trigger. You never know.
Right. So I think I have like a fairly healthy relationship with social media, and like for the most part, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I'll tell you what I was told by somebody. I forgot which star told me this, but they're like, James, a lot of times I would get hate online too, because just we put stuff out there, so people
put stuff out there, you're gonna get hate, no matter what.
So, but they said a lot of times they'll go for your appearance because it's easy. Because it's an easy target to go.
Yes.
Look at your hair. Look at your face.
Right.
Like, it's like, so that actually helped me go. Oh yeah,
right.
Of course they're doing
right.
it. They can. Yeah, because they can talk crap. Yes. Okay, what's your skin look like? Why is your hair gray? Like, why is it, like, they just, it's easy acts. It's like low hanging fruit. Yes. They go for that.
Yes.
Now,
going back to earlier too about not being able to, how my parents were smart about this and didn't have me in the entertainment industry too young. Because I did go through periods of time where I was like super insecure, figuring myself out as a person, trying to figure out my identity. All this stuff. I feel like because I had those years to not do it in front of people and entertain, I was able to do it then. And I feel so confident now that like I'm not a like I am a product, but I'm not a product of the people I'm putting my stuff out for. I know my identity is rooted in other things and grounded in other things in my life and in my faith and people who know me. And I have an incredible family and incredible friends that like could care less about what people think about my looks. I'm just like,
Yes.
whatever. So like little things like that are triggering.
Yes, it can be. Now I gotta mention, I mean, but before we end this conversation, I gotta mention because you're a fellow equestrian. I love horses. I
Yay!
ride horses. I have a huge backyard. I want to get a horse, but I can't get one. I would love to have one. I'm a huge, so anytime I talk to an actor, an actress, or singer, right, who's a fellow equine person, I get so excited. I used to work in farm and ag my former life, so I love horses. So I haven't ridden a couple of years because of the pandemic, but before that, I was always going riding and stuff. I had friends with horse and farm stuff, and I love it. What is it about horses that you like too? You said you're a cowgirl, you like horses. What is it about you? What do you like about it? Let's talk about horses.
I love horses. I don't know why. I think maybe some people are just born this way with like the connection to horses.
I feel, yeah.
Like, yeah, where you're just like, for whatever reason, you love them so much. And I think I've had that since I was little. My grandpa lived on a horse, or still lives on a horse farm. He is a cowboy. He's so cool. Even for his age, he's still riding. He's incredible. And he was a cutting horse rider, competitive cutting horse rider.
Okay, good.
So I'd grow up like going to his competitions and like riding on the farm, and absolutely loved it. I love Western. I love English. I love all horses.
I love the connection you can make with a horse.
Yeah.
That to me is it's because horses, they sense everything.
Yes.
And they feel everything. And so for me, I love when you connect with one and when you're riding together, it's you both riding together. I always say I'm not really riding a horse. We're riding together where we're going. And you're steering here and there and stuff, whatever, but it's like it's a connection. It's like you're not just getting on an animal and that's it. You're connecting with the animal. You're talking to them.
Yeah.
And it's before you get on them, you're talking to them, you're grooming them, you're talking to them. After you get off, you're still, it's a beautiful, beautiful connection. Horses are wonderful animals.
It's so therapeutic and so amazing. And I love riding. I also love like the thrill of it. I love helping train horses. I don't ride enough being here in LA. I was on the farm pretty much all of like 2020.
Funny. Oh, wow. Okay.
I was like, that was all I was doing, to the point where I was like, this is going to be the rest of my life. Okay. I thought the world was ending and I was going to end on a horse.
A horse. There you go. That sounds fine to me. That sounds fine to me.
But I've been riding a few times here. I record on a ranch here, and it's a horse ranch. So I'm just like, I don't know how that happened, but it did. And so I love having horses around. Yeah.
I grew up going to Hollywood Park, it's here in Inglewood where I live. I used to go as a kid, go to the racetrack. I used to go behind, talk to the jockeys. And my mother said, James, you always loved horses. And I'm like, I don't know where they came from. I had an aunt who had a farm out in Lake Elsinore. You
didn't have any other family members that rode or anything?
No, I had an aunt out in Lake Elsinore. She had a farm. And so I'd go out there and see all her animals, her pigs and horses. And for some reason, I was into cows. I was always into that stuff. I don't know why.
I love those. I love farm animals. I love goats.
Me too. No, if I could have a farm here in Inglewood, I would have one. I would love to have one. And it's funny, it's because I have family from the South and from the Midwest who have farm, but I wasn't really with them until years later. So later, now I've gone since as an adult, and that's what I've ridden and done it with them now. And I have cousins who have horses. But no, growing up, it was just literally me. It was just me. I don't know why. I was so into it. I must have saw something when I was really young, or heard something, like you said, your whole thing about you're gonna be a star, like kind of maybe somebody said you're gonna ride horses, James. I don't know. And I took to it, and later I found my tribe of equestrians and farm and stuff later as an adult. But as a kid, I don't know why. I was always into it.
That's funny.
So every time I talk to an actor or actress, I'm like, do you like horses too? Yes, we're all horse people.
There's something about like farm animals that also just like keeps you grounded in life, just like reminds you that all of this entertainment, all of this is not, it's not the most important thing, Well,
I'll tell you, I have a huge yard over here, and I grow trees and I grow fruits and I grow vegetables and stuff. And I grew up, and my grandmother lived 10 blocks away, and she always had a garden. So I was one of the few people in LA, Inglewood, who actually went to a garden every weekend and helped her with the with the green beans, the turnips, and the radishes, and she had rabbits and turtles outside, or tortoises outside, and fig trees, and so I've kind of taken over that in my house. I have like loquats and tomatoes and lemons and nectarines, and I just love it. I just think for me, it's during the pandemic, I was making my own food, and so people was like, because I was growing it. And so I was like,
farm to table, that's amazing.
There's nothing like it. And I think, and like you said, for me in 2020, it got me through that initial LA lockdown, pandemic, because I had stuff to take care of. I had a whole yard to take care of and tend to. It was like my sanctuary. I just go outside, the beautiful weather, and just play with the trees.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. It's like taking care of other things besides yourself. Like if you're that's what I find with horses too. I'm like, okay, I'm serving them. It's not for me all the time too. Like I guess I get something out of it and like it's therapeutic for me, but you really are serving them and working with them. Totally. And same with goats. I freaking love goats.
I know, me too.
And it's because I can like, it takes away from like my life, because once again, in entertainment, you are working for yourself a lot of the time. And that's why I think service is the most important to balance all of that. And so like working with animals and like obviously like serving other people too is a great thing, but like animals, there's something about it.
I agree. And that's what we're ending. I can talk to you forever. It's been almost an hour. I can talk to you forever. It's almost an hour. So I can talk to you forever. You have to come back on the show. You have to come back on the show, obviously.
I would love to. This is so fun.
You're amazing. You're very easy to talk to, and you're very good head on your shoulders. So good for that. Thanks to your parents for that, obviously. Okay, so wait. So the name of the single again that's coming out, and we're saying early February. So what's the name of the single?
Yes. Ooh, this is the first time I've said it, but I'm going to say it because I'm an independent artist and I can do what I want. It's called Monster, and I cannot confirm the date yet because we're working that out. Okay. But it's coming out very soon.
Very soon. And I also tell people where they can follow you too. I should do that. So they can follow your music.
I believe all of my handles on social media are The Love You Live.
I love that. I love that. I'm like, oh. And it was so cute. It was very cute because I'm like, and it's a pun. I love it. I do. I love it. I like, because I do everything with lot in it. Lot this, lot that. Yeah. The Love You Live, like that's very cute.
It's funny because the handle happened kind of on accident, and then it just like stuck. Like it was supposed to be temporary. I was like, had to come up with something quick. I wanted it to like mean something to me, but also be like a little bit clever.
Yeah.
And I'm so jealous of Liv Tyler's, which is Miss Live a Little. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had that handle.
I know, that's good.
But now this one has like strangely become part of me. Like people will call me The Love You Live, like when they see me. Like that. I'm just like, that's hilarious. I really love that.
I do.
I love to love. I love loving.
I know. I love it. So follow her, folks. Follow her. Go to YouTube. See her videos, go out there and follow her music. We support the arts. Support the arts. It's very important. Arts are very important to culture and well-being and mental health, and are good for education too. It's been very proven that music and acting and painting and dancing, it's all good for our bodies and souls. That's why I showcase artists like
necessary.
It is. I'm James Lott Jr. Thanks, Liv, for being on the show, of course.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you online on things online. And you can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. Sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms and TikTok. There's one there too. And anyway, please be careful. Support independent artists, and we'll see you next time.